Holistic connection. Let's heal. Holistic connection. Let's learn. Holistic connection. Let's grow. Holistic connection. Let's be real.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Holistic Connections, Conversations with Holistic Practitioners. I am your host, PamelaTopjian. My guest today is Rima, and I will ask you to please introduce yourself and share what you do in the holistic healing space, please.
Thank you, Pamela, for having me here.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to see what you're doing for the community at large and holistic practitioners. There is the need to be more educated about this for the public at large, and there's so much that is available. It's just that we don't know enough, right? Thank you for that. I am Rima Desai, originally like born and brought up in India, and I start there almost always when I introduce myself because I hold my culture very close to my heart and my upbringing, and 26 years of living literally at almost the same place, more or less the same house. And then I got married, and it's interesting how nature will take you to where you want it to be and you would imagined you would never. Was taken to East Africa, Tanzania, right by the wildlife that I would watch. My dad would show me videos of the wildlife, the Serengeti, and all of that has shaped me, to be who I am. And now I am from the jungles, like my friends say. My friends say to the desert in Arizona, United States. I got into holistic health overall, or alternative healing. I can say that it was my childhood experiences and all of the trauma that I wanted to heal, and I did not have what I needed when I needed it. But it runs in the lineage. Like my grandma had healing powers, and she would use all these herbs. So I cannot take full credit for it, but I can say that my soul was definitely guided to follow that path.
Oh, I love that.
In a different way. I do many things. Two of them as most important. Have a master's in counseling psychology. I think that's one part of the holistic realm of seeing us as more than just physical bodies.
Sure.
But also come from a culture where we have a lot of importance on this consciousness, the soul. Atma is what we call in the Indian term. Is the soul is omnipresent. It's all existing. And all we're changing is like the body of the car. We're just changing our clothes. Like it's kind of like saying your physical body is helping the car move, the engine do what it needs to do, but the soul is the bearer of everything. So even the work that I do now, which is primarily spiritual response therapy.
Okay.
The primary modality that my clients, through their demand, has been the focus on, although I do many other things. That is based on all soul consciousness. And in simple words, it's a powerful healing method where you can heal almost any area, any problem of your life, not just health. Because when we say healing, many people relate it directly to health. It's just some kind of association that has been built, right?
Yeah.
But you could come to me and say, tomorrow I have a test and I'm feeling nervous, or I just want to do well, or I have some financial blocks. It could be any area where we are healing the consciousness per se. So it's the root. And when you heal the consciousness, or your soul records in layman's term, akashic records, in other words, everything's going to heal by itself. But spiritual response therapy is not just akashic records. It's more than that. So it follows the whole journey of evolution of one spirit. And we are all, you can say in layman's term, children of spirit, right? So part of the larger being of ultimate consciousness. So when we were evolving from kind of like separating from spirit, spirit said, let me create many parts of me.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see what that, it could be thought of as a project. And as we were all created, we became our own identities while still being part of spirit. So that whole journey of evolution can create a lot of trauma, can create a lot of difficulties. And in spiritual response therapy, it's very esoteric words, but we can simplify it in concrete terms. We're healing that.
I love that. Thank you so much. So you mentioned that you have a long and powerful healing history and lineage, which you have, I believe, on your website. So thank you for explaining that. So I think it's on your website as well. Being a star seed and a highly sensitive person. So for those who might not have heard of those terms, can you explain what they are, please?
Yes, and I think many people at large, especially my clientele, which is primarily Asian,
Mm,
most of them from India, have not heard that term ever. And
yeah.
I'm one of the black sheep, you can say, in a way, like very different from my culture to know all this since childhood. But a starseed essentially is someone who is not of human consciousness in their
Mm.
descent of the last several, like thousands of incarnations, if you may say. So you can say I'm not an alien, so I'm not like
Right.
coming here to
Well,
like
you
from
never
another.
know.
I have a human body, but I've come on earth with a certain purpose
Yeah.
to raise human consciousness through like my gifts,
Hmm.
essentially, but I'm a being of another planet. I'm from another
Yeah.
dimension in consciousness. So that's what a star seed means. There are many, many star seeds from many different dimensions and planets
Hmm.
on Earth, and many of us are doing, similar work. Not all of us necessarily. Like one of my childhood friends has made groundbreaking, and I will not say their name because they're a very big public figure
Yeah.
in technology, and they're also a star seed. They've come to
Hmm.
Earth to shift how Earth, is in the technology realms relating to the modern society.
Yeah. So it's not just an esoteric type of term. It just can be anybody who's put here to change things in the world, in the present world.
Starseed is not necessarily here to change
Okay.
human conscious, not necessarily. So they could be there are starseeds that could come just to experience Earth life. Part of my other mission was also, or a goal was also to feel what it's like to have a baby from my own body, which I cannot
Ah,
do. In my dimension, I can wish for what I want and I can have it just like that without having to go through the physical experience.
through all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
But there are many starseeds that are here. But the term star is something that's away, right,
Right.
from Earth, not of earthly descent per se.
So you mentioned there's so many different things that you do. You at the very basic level, there's life coaching, also hypnotherapy, akashic records, so many different things listed on your website. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about some of those things, but also I want you to give a little bit of an explanation for whatever you think is the most misunderstood or what you get the most questions about, maybe out of all your offerings that you have on your website.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I definitely want to talk a little more about spiritual response therapy and
Okay.
healing, as such, but to give you a very brief synopsis of everything else, and it's kind of sort of like also shows the timeline of how I got here
Oh, okay.
in a way. Yes. So childhood, my mom passed away at 6 and like a lot
Mm,
of trauma, in short, like
sorry.
extreme trauma. Thank you. Extreme trauma. And I couldn't have said this like that easily now because a lot of healing has gone into it.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not going to dive into that, but that drove my soul to say, I definitely want to get a psychology degree and,
Okay.
help women and children per se. But there was the star seed was already planted way before that, right? My
Hmm.
logical mind is saying this is what happened in this
Yeah.
birth. And then from there, after master's in psychology, I got married to a better version of my childhood, if I may say,
Mm.
right? And then moved out of that. And that through that whole journey, I got into, as I was shipped to the United States, I came with a bag that I didn't know I was never going to go back to Africa. I
Mm.
love Africa. I have a lot of love for that place. So
Yeah.
that separation was created by the universe to kind of plant me here.
Yeah.
That led me into life coaching because I couldn't use my psychology from India
Mm.
into the Western world. There's a
Okay.
large gap of education.
Okay.
From that, to work through my process of healing, got into hypnotherapy from Swiha
Mm-hmm.
through, the hypnotherapy teacher
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And she told me, Rima, you don't even need to do a hypnotherapy because it's in you, like you're so in it. She also
Mm.
introduced me to the concept of you have twin flame, a twin flame here on earth with you. And
Yeah.
that was a new concept to my logical mind. From that, that's like almost 11 years ago. And from there on, I was brought to spiritual response therapy. But in the midst of all that, the one thing that got me to fight on my own through all of the circumstances was Vedic astrology. And I taught myself through videos, through YouTube, and some of the gurus that were, or modern gurus, I mean, teachers that were teaching it. I would
Mm-hmm.
just play it nonstop while cooking, while learning, while
Yeah.
working. And astrology has a great role to play, especially Vedic. I can only speak about Vedic because, I hold it in higher regard than other astrology because we go into specific details, like deeper in the sky.
Yeah.
It can tell you why things are happening in your life and what to focus on, what not to focus on.
Hmm.
It's not so much about some of the misconceptions that you're asking. So astrology is a powerful tool to empower yourself with clarity, with validation, with where to put in your efforts and what to surrender and accept in your life. Like, I know now, for example, that this is a healthier situation for me to not be in my marriage.
Hmm.
Astrology has really helped me look at my chart, which is the
Uh-huh.
horoscope. It's a divine blueprint. It's a concrete blueprint of this. These are your soul records,
Yeah.
right? It's showing everything that your soul has stored and come into this lifetime. And if you have a talented astrologer, they're able to decode that for you and say, certain areas of your life, your soul will have to learn the lessons. So just
Yeah.
accept them, right? And certain areas of your life, you can channelize your energy and improve or make the most of or stay away from. And certain areas you can radically shift.
Yeah.
Whereas astrology in today's world, unfortunately, has become method of making money, especially in India, I can tell you that, where
Mm.
gemstones do this, you will fall. It's not a fear creating, it's not meant for that. It's meant to give you
Yeah.
direction.
So it sounds like, and I've never heard this before, that the Akashic records and astrology are sort of intertwined with each other. Would you say that?
I would. I think the whole
Yeah.
universe is, if you start to look at, right, one Prakriti is the term in India, we say one nature, one Srishti.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you.
So just like the spirit, you can think of the spirit, the universe, the entire universe is one. Think of it as a dome. I
Okay.
I envision that as the male version, and all the trees and all of us are the female creation, right? The expression
Mm.
of, so we're ultimately all yin and yang in one big web system
Yeah.
together. And spiritual response therapy actually, like while talking about astrology, spiritual response therapy actually addresses that as we are ultimately beings of we've come from the spirit, from spirit, the ultimate. So we are all just one, and the
Hmm.
whole universe is one musical score. It's literally a musical score
Oh, nice.
if you look at the actual shape of the universe, and that's why music is the common language
Hmm.
across the entire universe, not only Earth, all
Yeah.
dimensions.
Yeah, and music is so I'm a former nurse and I've worked with Alzheimer's patients a lot, and music is the one thing that will, people who are normally unresponsive, it's the one thing that will, a lot of times, very often, not always, but will bring people, back into sort of into their selves. It's
Yeah,
amazing music. Yeah.
it's quite literally giving yourself the recharge to your life force,
Mm,
very literally, not even metaphorically.
yeah.
Certain hymns and certain, even chakras have those sounds, the om,
Yeah.
all of that is bringing back to your life actual essential, like evolutionary
Yeah.
force. But I did want to talk a little about spiritual response therapy if we have time for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the exciting part. It gets me all
Okay.
lit up because of the miracles that it can create. And I will do my best in the short time that we have to focus on the most important, but keep
Okay.
it very basic for the
Okay.
audience to understand. So as I spoke about, the soul, for example, as Alzheimer's, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do get patients that are, or clients that are everything, they're going through everything in life, relationships, etc. But health is the most tangible, so I'm going to focus on
Okay.
that more when they see outcomes, right? So when we get an Alzheimer's patient, or I have clients with schizophrenia, with
Mm-hmm.
autism, ultimately in spiritual response therapy, we're saying the medical industry or any other healing methods like Reiki, for
Yeah.
example, like I am also a Reiki practitioner
Okay.
and I don't practice it anymore
Okay.
because Reiki, in a way, like not in a negative comparison, but Reiki is here and spiritual response therapy is 100 levels of Reiki put together or condensed, all at
Okay.
once.
Yeah.
Much more impactful, quickly and powerfully. So we're saying, why is the soul suffering? Why are they going through what they're going through? And the whole idea is looking at the roots. And if you clear the roots, everything else will heal, right? Or like the tree.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
fruits will emerge. Now, in spiritual response therapy, when my clients come to me, they don't know a thing about what I'm doing. I have a pendulum in my hand, I have a set of charts, all these jargons that even anybody, any other healer will also not know. They're very specific to spiritual response therapy.
Okay.
But they see the results, right? They
Mm-hmm.
see that somebody may have come to me and their husband changes. The
Mm.
behavior of somebody else in their home changes when I did not even touch that person or
Yeah.
heal them, right? And these are some of the misconceptions too, that people
Okay.
feel I cannot change XYZ or healing cannot be done for someone without their permission. These are some of the misconceptions and many other misconceptions, but I am healing just the soul consciousness. You can't see
Okay.
consciousness, right? So if you were saying that my sister is going through a massive, terrible divorce, I need help for her, but she will not want to get healing.
Okay.
I'm saying it's not your sister who's going through the, trauma. It's the soul's consciousness that has incarnated over multiple lifetimes and it has collected things along the way.
Yeah.
Right? So as I walk today, I've collected dirt, I've collected experiences, and I'm only concerned as a healer to remove all the negative. I want to
Ah.
remove, right? I don't want to touch the positive. I'm not going to touch.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to access all your records of every lifetime you've lived or incarnated. Your consciousness has evolved. So it does go on based on the concept of evolution of incarnations and consciousness.
Yeah.
I'm going to open all of them. They could be 2,000, they could be 8,000 lifetimes, it could be so much. Even in a day, we have 75,000 thoughts, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Right? I read the news today about Dubai. I created some kind of thought and belief about it. It's going to stay like a small thorn
Mm.
in my body,
Yeah.
in my consciousness somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't give it attention and fully heal it, it's going to go with me in my next evolution. It
Okay.
could
I
be
see. Yeah.
it could be 70 years from now that I die, right? Or 40 years from now that I die. But that thorn was not healed. So we continue
Mm.
to pick up baggage. And then as we evolve, everything that's happening around us that's negative, including health, including a small cold,
Okay.
including like cancer, including divorce,
Mm.
including arguments, having a difficult child, someone with autism in the family, they're
Mm.
all symptoms.
Yeah.
They're not the problem. These are the
Yeah.
symptoms that are
Yeah.
showing you here are the triggers of every place that your soul was evolving, but it had pain or some kind of obstruction that is unresolved.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
So I'm going back and saying I'm channeling the energy with the soul
Mm-hmm.
and using their divine team. All of us have a divine team that we're born with, whether we know it or not. Everybody in this universe is given help. There's nobody who does not get help.
Okay. And is this what people normally would call like their spirit guides or their guardian angels, those types of things? Is that the same thing?
That's a great question. So, no, we're going into
No. Okay.
higher realms of beings.
Okay.
And there is a term we use it, and I'm not going to use it here only because people will start Googling, and then if there's a lot of misinformation on the internet,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
right?
That's
And
fair. Yeah.
and sometimes when I use that term, clients think I'm talking about their higher self. No, there's no such concept of higher self. It's something that we're saying that I want to be. There's no such
Okay.
thing. You're a soul, right? And you have your evolution and existence. But we have a divine team. So that's the word I'm going to use here.
Okay.
There can be thousands of beings that we can't see, but they have the power because other dimensions don't have the same rules as Earth. So they have the power to communicate with us, just like angels do. But
Mm-hmm.
angels are here to guard and protect us. The divine self is much above that. And they are directly under spirit. So you can think of them as working in the offices of God. And we are appointed here as star seeds from the office of God to come here and like help human consciousness.
Okay.
Simple words. Like quite literally, that's spiritual response therapy's ideology. So as I'm channeling, I'm getting information constantly. I'm hearing from myself, and I'm just using an idiometer response. My hand is going to be still, but the pendulum will be moving.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm getting a yes, I'm getting a no. It's trained, it's conditioned with me, my
Okay.
divine team, and the client's divine team. But the client doesn't need to know all of that. All they need to know is now I'm opening their past life and I'm telling them things, and they're like, "How do you know this?
Yeah.
How do you know?" She's like, they will be like, "Nobody else knows this about me."
Right, right.
Because the life you're living right now is many times a reflection of multiple past lives and the pattern is just continuing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just picking up on the pattern that you've continued to live, and I'm helping your soul say, just break through it. It's instead of going through 100 levels, like 100 sessions of therapy and going to trying to work through the conscious mind, I'm just giving the energy boost to the soul. Just stop. It's not going to help you. And I just redirect its path.
Oh, nice.
It's
Yeah.
very powerful. And
Sounds like it.
it's amazing. And I can humbly say, and I'm very blessed to have that, be able to bring people out of paralysis in 2 sessions. Paralysis.
Wow,
In
nice.
fact, while doing the session from the ICU ward, the child literally comes in, starts walking while
Wow.
I'm doing the session. Because I'm asking the soul, give me where everything has happened.
Yeah.
And it could be the environment. It could be that they walked into, it could be just the physical. That's part of what you were saying.
Yeah.
That maybe in their home, somebody watches a lot of aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And emotionally, the person doesn't even know it's impacted them. Or maybe
Yeah.
they went into a mall and it's like a smoke that you can't see.
Yeah.
It's like viruses, like a cold virus.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to sit in your energetic field.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's so much that no amount of Reiki or sometimes there's other energies. So
Yeah.
it's a little much, but I'm not going to share too much of that. But we're looking into everything. We're also looking into an event happened. Let's say I had an accident.
Mm-hmm.
The accident by itself has not caused the problem. Like I drowned. Let's say like Titanic, the ship drowned. Right?
Okay. Okay.
Everybody who evolves from there is reincarnated. The soul
Mm-hmm.
is going to remember the drowning experience as traumatic.
Yeah.
Now this person is going to be born with either asthma problem
Mm-hmm.
because they died out of lack of oxygen,
Yeah. Yeah.
or they're going to be afraid of the water. It's just showing them symptoms. That's where your trauma is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I go back and I heal that event, the memory of that event. I don't have to do anything with it. It's what did I think about the event, my soul, my emotions towards that event. Once I
Yeah.
heal those emotions, the asthma goes away, fear of water goes away, everything goes away.
So amazing. So amazing. And it's making sense. You know, you would think that this doesn't make sense, but it's making sense. So that's amazing. I love the way that you're explaining in such a way that some things that might sound so out there, but you're explaining it in a way that, you know, is easy to understand. So thank you for that. When you're doing the sessions, are you doing them remotely or are you in the room with the people or how are you working with people?
So in terms of the modality, it can be done either way. It can be done in
Okay.
person. It can be done just on Zoom like we are, which is
Okay.
primarily how I have since I started my practice in 2020 for spiritual response therapy. Before that, I
Okay.
was a hypnotherapist and life coach.
Yeah.
But it's always been virtual, even my hypnotherapy. In the pandemic, I happened to find my teacher
Yeah.
for this, and I am the third generation practitioner. But it can also be done, like I said, without me even knowing where that individual is, because
Yeah.
their divine team is helping me. They know everything, right? It's like a helicopter in the sky.
Yeah.
They know our past, present, future. They know where we are, like everything.
Yeah.
So they're just connecting me to the consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's important that if you're attending, or if I know who the individual is, even if they're not attending, and they not be in public places, because I need to pin down that person's energy. I can
Yeah.
easily otherwise pick up everybody else's. They will get the healing instead of you, so we don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So do you do any work with people in person at all, or is it all virtual?
I don't prefer the in-person. I haven't done
Okay.
it in a very long time. I usually do it for reserve it for family
Okay.
because I don't want it's my preference. Do not want
Mm-hmm.
people coming into my like home, and I don't have a separate office for this.
Okay.
Not require. I have clients all over the world since
Yeah.
the 5 years. So it's not, in fact, even if I had a place, it would just be sitting there because I have clients in
Mm-hmm.
Australia, UK, everywhere, Africa. So it's not a preference, but I
Yeah.
can do groups. I can do like
Okay.
couples. We can do anybody who is born, and in fact, even in the womb,
Mm.
healing can be given to them. The
Wow.
preference, though, is after they are between 3 months
Uh-huh.
to 2 years. There's a term called programs. We
Okay.
all have programs. Programs are the root cause, the negative. discordant energy, the negative energy we have on everything that's happened in our evolution. So I'm clearing those programs. So all the programs need to be downloaded in the physical body of a person after they're born. So
Okay.
that is best between 3 months to 2 years.
Okay.
But not to say you cannot do before. It's just that you might miss out on some things and then you have to go back and revisit.
Yeah, and wouldn't the birth itself be, wouldn't they be picking up things through that experience because that's such a prominent experience in one's life is birth, the birth at your own birth itself. So, yeah.
You're so, yes, you're absolutely very perceptive and you're comprehending this very well, which my
I'm
clients don't.
trying. Thank
No,
you.
you're doing great. My clients don't. Even when I tell them everybody should get at least a healing done for their birthing, not only because biologically and the logical mind you separate it, so that's traumatic to the
Yeah.
body coming to the world, but also it's the most vulnerable time when negative energies, the unseen portions that I told you, they can
Mm-hmm.
come and attach to you. And
Mm.
believe it or not, sometimes you don't know you're living with that all your life. And
Yeah.
you might think this child has behavior problems or
Right.
anger issues or fear. It's very fear. It's actually not even their energy.
Yeah.
It's somebody's energy that's stuck so strongly that we need a strong force like the divine team to like
Mm-hmm.
separate and remove that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's making sense, like I said. So, and I credit you for the way you're explaining it. So thank you. So the time has passed so quickly, it always does.
Yeah.
And again, I thank you so much. We're going to have all your links below in the show notes and in the description of the video. So you want to tell us about your website and the socials that you're on, and where's the best place for people to reach you?
Yeah, so to reach me, the best place is through my website. It's
Okay.
my name, Rima Desai. So if you can see the spelling, it's one
Yeah.
word, www.rima, R-I-M-A, D-E-S-A-I, desai.org. You can read about me. It shows my calendar. I'm typically booked out
Nice.
7 to 8 months in a year.
Okay.
I only also do it part. I only do about like 40 to 50 hours of paid in a month, and then I leave time aside for family. Plus, I do
Sure.
other things.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason I'm not propagating it on social. It's been the trend since last 4 years. But
Okay.
you can find me on Insta at the rate Coach Rima Desai.
Okay.
And the guiding star is the pseudonym that I've not like registered, but I've been known by that since the time I started.
Okay.
So I'm the guiding star in Facebook, but again, Coach Rima Desai, clients can find me with that, or people can find me. I have a fair enough following that's organically built on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I try not to be as active. I don't like to, but I
Yeah.
am like learning to come out more.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I understand for sure. So we'll get all your links and put them below in the show notes, like I said. So is there anything you would like to make sure that people know before we end this today?
I appreciate that. Yes, I definitely wanted to mention something that some of the misconceptions. So one of them is through spiritual response therapy, there's a strong possibility. It's nothing set in stone, but there's a chance the soul, the individual gets to extend their lifespan. It's
Mm,
very powerful. And people have misconceptions of you can't heal this with this because the problem is so bad. The
mm,
problem is not bad. We just have to find the root cause. So if you have a good
yeah.
practitioner, it could be fourth stage cancer. I have healed, and I can't say I, but through spirit, been able to
Yeah.
heal brain, somebody who has been completely in coma, has brain like clots,
Mm-hmm.
hemorrhage, everything, including lifespan. It's the best gift to give to your parents or someone who has
Mm,
terminal illness or is really distraught in life. So it doesn't matter whether you come to me, but or anyone, go to a registered experienced spiritual response therapist.
yeah.
It's a beautiful gift to give anyone that you love in your life, including
Nice.
yourself. So,
That's so amazing that you could, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that would be a great gift for sure.
because
And
it's like the
especially
soul
like you
is
said for
getting
parents.
right, the soul is getting eyes. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt. I get so excited because you can literally redirect the path of the soul and say, hey,
Mm,
you're going down the path that's going to end your life sooner. And
yeah.
do you want to? We ask the soul, do you want to? The soul
Yeah.
still gets a choice. But what we do is we clear the road ahead, the path, and then the soul has the freedom to make a wise choice.
Yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say, especially for like your parents or your elders. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Well, Rima, this has been so informative, and I just can't wait to get your episode out there and share you with my audience. So thank you so, so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much. Likewise.